we just seen Guy Ritchie's In the Gray, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill. Now, it's starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill, but they're not the main leading actor actor in this movie. It's actually a female lead in this movie. I want to say right off the top, this is how you do a female lead as a main character, not what Disney was doing with Star Wars and other movies and certain Marvel projects and things like that. So this is how, like, take notes. This is how you do a female lead in a movie. Like, this is how you do that. This is like the character, she utilizes her strengths, like, and her resources. She was a lawyer, and she understood the system and was able to think and analyze and plan out, and knew like who she needed on her team. She had a team of people together. She didn't do it just by herself. And even flip-flopping this into like the whole myth of an alpha male or alpha female doesn't exist. You need a team. Like it
for the job she's doing.
Yeah. What I'm saying, even God has a team, right? God has his angels or his messengers, right? God could do everything himself, but he wants to build relation with people. He wants community and things like that. He wants connection. So you got your angels and you have us people. Like, so the whole myth of the alpha male or alpha female is not true at all. You need a team. You can't do everything by yourself. You can lead the team, leadership, and guide the team, and give them the vision of what you want to have happen and the commands and things like that, and you can lay out principles and things like that, and give promises like God has given us in the Bible, right? So the movie was a funny, fantastic time to watch. The character development in the characters, that's where the weakness of this movie is at, with like the side characters, but they are side characters. They're not the main characters. We learn a lot through the main characters' actions and that banter with each other and their connection with each other without them having to give too much like backdrop or anything like that. We get just like the main thing that we need to know, like how do these characters know each other. You don't get that with the side characters, you only get that with the main three characters, right? The movie is very brilliant. It is what you would like to see in heist movies and in other like thriller-esque movies or combat movies and things like that. Like Guy Ritchie, in a lot of ways, his movie pays respect to the special operations or the military, where rehearse, we're planning out the op, and we're rehearsing these points. And I feel like I don't want to give too much away in this movie. On one hand, relating this to like the real world, you don't want to work for evil people, because when evil people want to terminate you, they don't just let you go. They terminate your flesh and send your spirit off to wherever. Probably gonna end up going to hell, because you're probably working for somebody evil and you've probably been complacent to that evil, and at a certain point became a hand in that evil, right? So work for good people. Try to work for good faith people, right? And watching this movie and seeing like the legal aspect and all the details in the financial aspect of it. I'm in Proverbs right now, and in Proverbs, it says seek discernment or discretion, And it says seek wisdom, which is skill and ability. And then it says seek understanding. Seek those three things. In Proverbs chapter 8, it says something that makes sense when you go to Proverbs, when you start reading Proverbs. The first 7 chapters of Proverbs is about what I just said: discretion or discernment, seeking wisdom or ability, and understanding or comprehension. And then it says to start all that, the beginning of that is the fear of the Lord. What is the fear of the Lord, and how do you do it? It tells you that in Proverbs, like staying away from adultery and fornication, and what type of woman does this, and staying away from doing bad things to people just for the sake of it. Don't hang out with people who like to do bad things just for the sake of it. It also says when you make a promise to someone, do your darndest or your best to keep it. Or if you make a financial agreement with someone or take a loan from someone, you do your best to pay it back like a gazelle running from a hunter. That's how much you need to work to pay back your debts, to have it cleared away as soon as possible. In this movie, the guy had a debt, $1 billion. He owed this money to a company that makes trillions of dollars. Companies make money off of you. Companies that make money from you with credit or with like financial stuff like that, they have money, they give you money, and then what they do, they put interest on top of that money. That's how they make their money. And then they are somewhat betting that you're not able to pay that money back right away, and so the interest will compound over time, and you're going to owe more than what you pulled out the original loan for. So that's how they can make their money. And then it's gotten to the point where some companies don't even care if you have a job or not. But then that goes into that person who's like asking for the loan in the first place. Do they have the ability or the wisdom to go make the money back? Do they have the understanding of what they need to do with the wisdom to make the money back? And do they have discretion or discernment of the good ways versus the evil ways to make the money back? I love this movie. I give it 2 buckets. The last point that I want to hit on with this movie is there's a lot of behind the scenes or invisible things that's happening. In the Bible is spoken of an invisible realm, or the fight is an unseen fight. In Proverbs, it says to have equity, to gain equity. When you watch this movie, it actually teaches you some cool finance stuff in the movie. But there are more biblical principles in this movie than just finance stuff only. There's finance stuff in here, but there's good biblical principles in here, right? And the movie is a consequence of when you don't keep your promises, right? And when you don't pay back the money that you owe. And then when you don't honor the deals, which is keeping your promises, the consequences of that. So there's fallout and consequences of all that, right? So just the idea that one part in the movie, one character says, oh yes, we're working on that, we're doing this and that and that, and you know sorry to point but you know what will move the needle for the thing that you need to do. Or if you don't know, you can go find somebody who do know. And then the first person you ask, or the first being or spirit that you ask, is God. Seek God first and everything. And you go to the Bible and it says get equity. So don't just work your W-2. a regular job. Get you some equity. Build equity. Build equity. This has been the movie review of In the Grave by Guy Ritchie, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill. This movie review is done through a biblical worldview. Thank you for watching. God bless.